Wrestling.com proudly presents the Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us. Presented by KingofAmazon.com. When you think of Amazon, think KingofAmazon.com.
Royal Rumble just got wrapped up tonight from Minute Maid Park, Houston, Texas. Really good pay-per-view tonight. It was an A, and I'm going to tell you why it was tonight here on the Wrestling is Real podcast. Before we get started, you've watched the news, you have heard about it today, and I really don't talk a whole lot about other sports, but I do watch a lot of basketball, a lot of football. Kobe Bryant passing away in a tragic helicopter accident, accompanied by his lovely and talented 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. And what was it? They said 9 people in total. All, unfortunately, were in a helicopter that crashed. And, I mean, it was a helicopter that he owned. Pilot goes down as well. Real thoughts and condolences to all that know and love Kobe Bryant, his wife Vanessa, his 3 remaining daughters who have to go and deal with this tragedy for the rest of their lives. 41 years old, younger than me. It's so sad to see that going on today. And hearing the news this afternoon and watching and just going through a lot of things for 3 hours, kind of just taking my time to go and just, take it all in. Absorb that this actually happened and, take some time just to think. And think about our own lives and really just reflect on, you never know what's going to happen for mysterious reasons. We don't know why people go away when they go away and why things happen to certain people. But like I said, I'm a man of faith, and I really do believe that things happen in mysterious ways for particular reasons. And it's unexplainable now. Maybe it'll be explained some of the day, some of the time, some of the universe. Who knows? But all in all, arguably, among a lot of people, I would definitely say he's one of the top 5 best basketball players to ever lace up sneakers and play on the court, bar none. A guy that said he wanted to be like Jordan growing up, and he did about as good a job of making that argument possible. Hall of Famer. And just, that was the kind of guy, and I know LeBron James had his now has taken up in his spot now in the scoring, the most scoring in a career. But I got to say that, LeBron James cannot hold a candle to Kobe Bryant because of the fact of when it comes to the big games, LeBron James has been there about as many times or more times than Kobe Bryant, but doesn't have all the rings. And that's got to be something to be said about Kobe Bryant. And I'll tell you, man, not afraid to say that guy, you get rubbed. I always got rubbed a little wrong by him because of the ego, and that's okay. He backed it up. So all I could do is respect what he did for a career. The guy was talented in many different ways. Did an animated short, won an Academy Award, charitable work, doing the Academy where his own daughters were actually, perfecting themselves in their skills of basketball. And, eventually his daughter, Gianna, I saw the videos, man. I'm telling you, she would have probably been a WNBA star. Not even a question. Or she would have done very well in college as well. And just seeing the video of those two together and how much they loved each other, you could just tell the love you could see from that. And, to have that bond of basketball together. He was not a negligent father. Early in his career, he was a bad husband. He made his mistakes. I think he corrected them. I think he turned himself around full circle, regardless of what people might say about it. It was amazing what people were saying about it, an outpouring of support. This is like Elvis tragic. This is Michael Jackson tragic. You know him by one name. You could just say Kobe and everybody know, probably 8, 9 out of 10 people in America would know who that is. It was sad and tragic Then I just wanted to put my point right here and just give a big rest in peace. Godspeed, Kobe Bryant. And it is, I couldn't wrap my head around it. And I know a lot of people that, even when I just said it at random, there were just some people that just did not want to believe it. They did not want to accept the reality that had just happened. And, I also will go on my Broadcasters podcast later this week, and I'm going to go and rail. I might just go and rail a little bit on the media coverage of Kobe Bryant, because that was really badly done, and that's just atypical of media, but I will do it on my Broadcasters podcast later this week. Let's get into Royal Rumble, and I'll make some remarks about Worlds Collide, NXT's pay-per-view from last night, and NWA Hard Times that happened on Friday. So when it comes to the pay-per-view tonight, again, it was an A pay-per-view. They did have a couple spots I wasn't necessarily felt good about, and that's okay. I mean, for the amount of pay-per-view that we got, there was just one match I really did not feel good about. I just thought it wasn't like they didn't put the effort in, but I just didn't like the match. I didn't like the outcome either. Bayley and Lacey Evans. It was a match that really just didn't do it for me. I didn't like it at all. So no surprise there. But now, in terms of the matches tonight, Sheamus over Shorty G, and a long match, by the way, but Sheamus obviously getting a good match here with Shorty G to kind of build himself back up, get him back into the mix. Andrade over Humberto Carrillo, that was fine. Way that ended up, pretty good matches for the pre-show. Roman Reigns over King Corbin, Falls Count Anywhere. It wasn't bad. King Corbin, to me, Baron Corbin, I do like him as a heel. We just have not liked this feud. The dog feud thing really just threw this into a loop, and I never enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy that storyline so much, and I just think once they do something else with King Corbin, let's just see what else they can do with him. But, at this point, I don't know what you do. I mean, do we keep the King gimmick on him? Do we kind of change that up now that we've kind of finished up the Roman Reigns feud? Because they finished it up. It is done. I think they cannot go back to that again. So King Corbin needs a new opponent. That's what they need to be setting up for SmackDown. Something else for him to be doing at WrestleMania. Because he's going to have a match at WrestleMania. He's going to have something to do at WrestleMania, but not here. I mean, it's like, okay, take him out of this spot. Roman Reigns will get into some main event, most likely with Bray Wyatt. I don't know what you do. I mean, we just have to wait. I want to find out what WWE wants to go and do with some of the stars they have. Overall, I think they did a really good job of at least getting the seeds planted for some things to go on going forward. Charlotte Flair, regardless of what people thought, even though Shayna Baszler came in, number 30, would have been the one that could have taken out Charlotte Flair at the end of the night in that women's Royal Rumble match. 54 minutes they went with that match. It wasn't bad. I really didn't have much to say when it comes to what they did with Charlotte and this match at all. I felt bad for Beth Phoenix. I mean, God, I don't know how much blood was coming out of her, but it was really rough. Now, Bianca Belair, to last as long as she did, was great. I really enjoyed Bianca Belair going in 8 eliminations in the match tonight. And she came in number 2, dropped out after 16. Really great stuff. She's a star. I mean, I think there's a whole lot to be said about where she could fit in the mix. I think you could put her over on Monday Night Raw right now and really put something together. I mean, probably not elevate her right to the main event in the women's division, but she's going to be in a good spot. I think she has some real flair, and I just really feel like she has something different to deliver, something to bring to the table that is definitely different flavor to her. And just a great look, strong, and just had presence, was really confident out there, really did a great job. Kudos to her. I thought she was great. Mercedes Martinez, short-lived. The Liv Lana thing was the only thing we saw, the Lana Rusev Lashley thing that we were going on, which was fine. I had no big thing with that. Lana being in there was quickly put in. And they did a good job in the Royal Rumble matches tonight. The men's match was fantastic, and I'll talk about that in a minute. With the women, I thought it wasn't bad how they put it together. Alexa Bliss came in first, and she did pretty strong for the start of the night. Adding Nikki Cross into the match to help out was a good, nice little touch. Again, Lana, and then Liv Morgan coming out after that. And then the Mandy Rose stuff. Man, let me tell you, what a nice little seed they planted with her and Sonya Deville. So, when he saw what the hell was going on when Mandy Rose, we thought, was getting eliminated, the Otis thing made me laugh so hard. I was like, that was well done. That was very creative, very well done. Great storyline telling. Brian Alvarez at Wrestling Observer Newsletter is one of the best storylines they got right now. And it is. It is. I will agree with Brian Alvarez. It's one of my favorite storylines. I love this Otis thing. And I think they've done something now to really add a little more to the story, because I like the Sonya Deville thing. She even said prior to the match, she's like, if it happens to be me and her are left in the ring, me and Mandy, I'll eliminate myself just for the team, out of my love for man, like just for the team. So Sonya Deville, they're trying to definitely show more than just a partnership, more than just a tag team. There is, an emotional quotient to it. And we know that Sonya Deville was asking for Otis to come out, but then Sonya is upset now with the rift that Otis has created between her and Mandy. That story is good. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I mean, I see the split coming, but I like where it's going, and I want to see where they're going to go with that. That is actually it's a nice little touch. Hey, man, bring in the women to these, really just adding the motion to the storylines, adding a little bit of, a little bit of heart to it. I like it. I like it a lot. And again, Bianca Belair, early part of the night, just taking care of business. And then it took a while until we saw Shayna Baszler come in and just started tearing the house down, because you had so many people that were left in the ring beforehand. But then Shayna Baszler herself gets 8 eliminations in the match. The Santino Marella thing, whatever. And really, everybody else was kind of like just left to their own device. But Shayna Baszler coming in last, cleaning house, and having this right here was Charlotte. I know people didn't really like it so much, and Charlotte was just getting beat up and beat down the whole night because she only got 4 eliminations, was just getting beat up, tore up throughout the night. And we thought she actually was eliminated, but then she comes in later on and is able to go and come back. And I don't have a problem here seeing Charlotte over Shayna. Like Shayna, yeah, coming into the mix, bringing her from NXT up to the main roster, I could totally see that happening. But I mean, I guess they definitely have an idea where if they're going to resurrect Charlotte versus Becky, I mean, look, it's a big money feud. We've seen it. I've enjoyed it. I have said on this program, I enjoy that. I can watch those two wrestle all the time. So I got no problem if Charlotte and Becky go after it again. How are they going to get me to get invested in storylines again? That's, again, will be the underlying problem of everything that they do that WWE does. But that's just my point. Now, moving along, a couple of singles matches. Bayley and Lacey Evans, 9 minutes in the match. And Lacey Evans, she did a pretty good job of what she could do. A little rough in some of the moves tonight. But, and Bayley is just not that much of an importance because the wrong person is going up against Lacey Evans. We want Sasha Banks. And I forget if Sasha's injured or not, but really, Bayley's going to take the brunt here. And no Sasha at ringside took away from the match as well. If they're going to go ahead and go along with this, Lacey Evans not winning the belt, that's fine. I don't know what they're going to do with the SmackDown Women's title anyway. But, I mean, Bayley, for somebody to have a long title reign that she has, it doesn't mean much to me. And it's not against Bayley. I just think they've done a bad job of booking her. I mean, they made the heel turn. She's definitely a heel. She definitely did the chicken heel thing to do by, grabbing the tights to win the match over Lacey. But, there's a few things missing on Lacey's repertoire. I just think she needs some more time to get herself all the way through. she's there, but I think she's just a little bit green still. Like, even when she did, and that's the whole thing too. Like, listen, even when she does the moonsault, like, to go ahead and keep having a little hesitation. The hesitation and just the confidence of trying to build that up. Some of her moves, some of her punches a little bit off. But she's so much there. I mean, I just think that, keep protecting her. Like, go ahead and go along and try to make her really strong. This wasn't a bad match for her. I just think they should just, it wasn't the better match of the night. It was the match that just really that dragged the show down a bit. They did what they could, but again, storylines were in the way. And Lacey Evans, she's almost there. I think she just needs more ring time and more TV time just to kind of get herself to there and get herself more comfortable. But I think she's going to make it. She's going to turn it around. She just needs more time. To go ahead and put anything on her right now, it's too soon. So let her continue to be the babyface that's building up. Let her keep going and keep working on it because she's almost there. I really like her a lot. I think the fans are getting behind her. So I think there's room to let her grow. And I think see what happens to her after WrestleMania and come back to her and put a focus on her, put a spotlight on and see what you can do with her again. Now, The Fiend and Daniel Bryan was a very good match. The strap match, I was listening to DTKC beforehand. The fact that maybe the red light was not on tonight because they wanted to focus on the strap match and show the actual welts on Daniel Bryan's back. Very good match. Story being told. And again, the Fiend continues to be unstoppable. And I understand it. I don't know who's going to be the one that's going to take the belt off of him, but they've done a good job. They protected Bray Wyatt. I've been talking about doing that for a long time to make him solid. So they've done it. They have protected Bray Wyatt. He is a top guy as well. But now it's again another star that looks like who's going to beat him and take him down. And it looks like the only person that could do it is Roman Reigns. And maybe that's who we're going to see down the line be the opponent for Bray Wyatt, which is what's been talked about. Maybe we're going to see Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. That's the plan. And that'll be fine. I got no problem with that. I think that's a pretty good matchup. That's a pretty good draw. You can go a lot with that. I don't know what they're going to go with it, but I don't think you go to the kids stuff. I mean, really, I don't think you go to the family stuff this time. I just don't know what you do here to get Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt off the ground. Got to be a good story here. I don't know what it's going to be. Like, they had a story behind Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. They vaguely put it in there, but at least it was enough to know what it was, that Daniel Bryan was briefly a Wyatt family member. The Miz thing for a little short time, that was to throw the family thing in there. That was okay. And now we're here with Roman Reigns. And him not winning the Royal Rumble match was a good thing. But again, people were a little upset. They were like, uh-oh. But Roman Reigns taking the final elimination by Drew McIntyre was good for all. And everybody went home happy. Very happy tonight, I think. So, Daniel Bryan, I'll say you this again, too. He's over big time again. But the guy is about as hot as you can get. So, I don't know where Daniel Bryan goes from here, but I also I feel bad that he's not going to stay in this title picture. But I think you need to give him a real main event match. I don't know what that's going to be, but he deserves something main event because he's up there again. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And there's obviously not a title for him to go after unless they find a way to put him in with Bray Wyatt in a feud here. But I believe where Daniel Bryan's spot would be is going to be taken away by Roman Reigns because in the storyline, Daniel Bryan gave it his all, but could not come away with the win to take the belt from Bray Wyatt. I mean, they've already done it a couple times, and he hasn't gotten there. So maybe it's somebody else. But Daniel Bryan's over. You got to give him a solid match. Like, he's got to have one of the top 4 matches that night. At WrestleMania in Tampa, he's got to have one of the top 4 matches. He's that big a star. I just don't know who you do. But then again, he's got to have a good match. Edge has got to have a good match. You got to have something for those guys. I don't know what it is. But 4 to 6 matches make the top of the card. Daniel Bryan's got to be in there. He absolutely has to. Now, Becky Lynch over Asuka retains the women's title. I actually really enjoyed, I think the match was the finish. When they got to the submissions towards the end, and we saw the Asuka lock being put on the Becky, and we're seeing, what's going on? And then, we see Becky return it back over with Disarmer, and then the kick that Becky Lynch hits to get the mist to go and spit out. And there we go. Disarmer, Asuka taps. That was the match. Probably went a little longer than I thought. 16 minutes was a little bit long for this match. But I know they were trying to tell the story here, and they needed Becky Lynch to really feel like Asuka was just getting the better of her the whole match. So that story being told was fine. But having that after the strap match really dragged this match out a little bit. But it did redeem itself. I think the last few minutes made that match stand out. So Becky Lynch being here, it's fine. She's champion still. I actually think this match actually helped her really with her character. The crowd really wasn't for Becky Lynch at the end of the night. And I think the redeeming win over Asuka, solid, even with Kairi Sane at ringside, makes the man character better. So I think Becky Lynch now, she's in a better spot than she was. I think getting this match back up here and holding on to the belt and staying strong here was good for Becky Lynch. So I think she's in a good spot. I think Becky Lynch now, you could basically say she is now carved, set in the main event. She is staying right there. They obviously feel her to be a star just as much as I think her and Becky, or her and Charlotte Flair are in the same vein as the top main eventers in the women's division, bar none. And when Ronda Rousey comes back, that'll be two. And who knows who else? But those three right now still are what matters here. And I think that down the line, Shayna Baszler, when she comes back in, they're going to build her to that spot as well. And that's good for the women's division overall. But to also have to work off of those two titles is a lot of work. There's not a lot of more people they have left to go ahead and really put into those main event spots. But they have 4 women right there, more or less. But now they got 2 for sure. And then see who else they bring into the mix. Now, the men's Royal Rumble match. This was a thing of beauty. I loved this Royal Rumble match. One of my favorites. It's hard to say. Like the last time I really enjoyed a Royal Rumble match was CM Punk coming in and getting to do promo after a couple of eliminations where he just had the floor to himself and he quickly eliminated somebody else, continues this promo. I forget what it was. Was it 2020, 2012, 2013? I forget. That Rumble match was great. This was fantastic. I think the story they told with Brock Lesnar, listen, the Rumble match made people tonight. It did what it was supposed to do. It absolutely really looked great. So it was, and Michael Cole said it was a tale of 2 matches. 2 different style matches going on the Rumble match, the men's match. Brock comes in, takes out 13 straight, all in different fashion. Elias hits a song, out. Rowan, quickly out. And then you're just seeing who is in here that would never be put in the ring with Brock Lesnar any other time, but just now you see where these people are in the pecking order. So then, Rowan's out in 8 seconds. Rude, couple of moves, out. Morrison, couple of moves, out. Kofi was in there for maybe just a little bit. But no extra stuff from him tonight. That was it. They just, Kofi getting a chance to confront Brock Lesnar, that was important. See, the first 5, first 4 entrants after Brock were throwaways, pretty much. But the way they told stories after that, very well done. Now, Kofi getting the chance to confront Brock, that was good to have. At least to have that there, because they were never going to give Kofi a rematch. So putting that right there was a nice little spot. Rey Mysterio, because of the story they had told about him and Dominic and the whole beat up of that from the Cain Velasquez stuff. That was well put as well. Very well done. It's got to be Paul Heyman that did some of this. But that was actually very well orchestrated. Then Kofi accompanying Big E So the little New Day back-to-back right there to get these guys together to go along, and with Rey Mysterio. But then again, Brock Lesnar, quick work, knocks him out. Cesaro comes out, maybe a move or two, out. Shelton Benjamin, just to give the story of, hey, Minnesota wrestling team, right? Da-da-da, we're going to get together. Betrayal at Tu Brute, Shelton Benjamin. Brock throws him out. Shinsuke, quickly done. Then you got MVP, which was a nice return of a veteran coming back, which was one of the few. That was actually kind of cool to see MVP back, but obviously quickly thrown out. Keith Lee was a very interesting spot here. And I enjoyed that. I mean, it was brief, but it was something to just say, you know what? Keep an eye on this guy. Keep an eye on Keith Lee. But again, Keith Lee is not going to be on the main roster anytime soon. They're still trying to build him up in NXT. And he needs the time at NXT to be built up more. They need to do more with him because calling him up now is way too soon. Way too soon. They need to give him more time. And it's not that he isn't a veteran. He hasn't had his time in Ring of Honor and other places. Give him some time. This was a good spot. Braun Strowman being thrown here to throw the big guys in. It was another confrontation for Keith Lee. Braun Strowman being put here was also because you wanted to have somebody else that Brock Lesnar had also confronted with to get those together. And Brock, once again, strong, tosses out. Tosses out Keith Lee and Braun Strowman. Ricochet, the little tete-a-tete from last week, you threw that in. And then it changed. It changed with Drew McIntyre at 16. Very right in the middle of the mix. And Drew McIntyre is the one that knocks out Brock. And Brock can't help. And listen, the story being told right then and there, they planted the seed perfectly. Drew gets a spot. I'm like, wait a minute. So something's going to happen with him and Lesnar. We know that's going on. And the eyes just laser focus at each other. These guys are, they are burning a hole in each other, looking each other down, staring each other down, while McIntyre's just sitting up for the ring, looking down on Lesnar. And they just, they made it where they were just continuing to stare at each other. So Lesnar and McIntyre are going to have words coming up Monday night, tomorrow night. So that's good. And then Miz, he comes in, and then McIntyre starts getting the spot. And then you move along. AJ comes in. Ziggler, Anderson, Later on, then 21. And the pop that Edge gets is amazing. He looked good. Looked older. 11 years. I can't believe it's almost 11 years he's been out. So good to see him, though. Spear. I don't know what they're going to be putting him in the pecking order coming in now. Like, they could absolutely make him a main eventer now. And another veteran to bring in as well is a good thing for the company. And you can do a lot of things. I mean, you could pair Orton and Edge and do another rated RKO team and do something with that. I don't know what you want to do, but Edge being here is a really great spot. So I appreciate that. And I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with Edge bringing him back. So I think it goes to Raw. I think we could probably see the Edge heads. We'll see Hawkins and Ryder. They'll kind of have an interaction, I think. I think we'll have more with Randy Orton, more of that too. So that's a good spot for him. I actually like where they got him set up at this moment. Miz, quick work. AJ was in there for a little bit. And Ziggler stayed around for a while. King Corbin coming in, took care of that. Interesting to see Matt Riddle come into the mix very quickly, though. I think it was just people were kind of expecting Matt Riddle to be in, so it was what it was. It's nice to see Aleister Black being brought in. And obviously, the idea was when Aleister Black was in the ring, and then you had a bunch of guys in there, having Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Aleister Black. You have all those guys now to go ahead and confront Seth Rollins, Akam, Razor, and go off of that. So like you can have some 4-on-4 stuff now All those guys will be involved with each other. And I'm forgetting who will be the other person that would join Joe and Owens and Black. I forget if there's a fourth person. I wouldn't know who that fourth person would be. Wasn't really thinking about who that could be added to the mix with this prophecy, that whatever this faction is with Buddy Murphy being added to the mix. But Aleister Black has to deal with Buddy Murphy. Then you got Joe and Owens that will be able to take care of all those other three. So you need a fourth man. Who's it going to be that's going to be that fourth man that goes after these guys? So we have some matches, some stuff to go work with these guys. Seth Rollins being last was a nice touch. And, Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre being at the end, and you thought Roman Reigns was actually going to win it, and people were like, boo, because they didn't want to see Roman Reigns get there again. They don't want to see him crowned this way. And it's fine. And Drew McIntyre getting this moment, I didn't know if he was going to get this. You got to ask yourself, when you see guys that are from other companies that were WWE guys, leave, come back. I mean, Christian had a certain spot where he comes back and he gets to be a certain place. And, I try to think about who's come back and who is in a good spot that maybe he'll do something really good. They don't have the teenage stench on him. Like AJ Styles had a good spot given to him. Samoa Joe never got the main title, but he's gotten main event title matches. Drew McIntyre, they really always had something about him. They always thought they could do something with him. Now, the point is, they were not building him well at all. Like, they had just made him face, and he was getting some matches, some glorified squashes. So, he's getting over with the crowd. And there was a little underlying feeling. I think people really wanted McIntyre to make it back and do something. Because, they did something with McIntyre. They were going to do something with him. The win over Angle was important. But then, nothing more. Just kind of left it there. And it was really weird. So I'm saying to myself, McIntyre would be great to be a guy that could go up against Lesnar. They could put him in that match. I would love that. I didn't know the company would pull the trigger. I wasn't sure they would. But they invested so much time in him. He did get himself over as Drew Galloway over in Impact Wrestling. It was a pretty big star. I didn't know they would go to it. But, he's a company guy. And he comes back. He got a chip on his shoulder. He made himself better. He got himself back in there. And he looks great. And to see Drew McIntyre now being a main event guy was very nice to see. The way they got there was kind of rough. But the Royal Rumble itself, just the match itself, made him a main event guy. They accomplished that. They accomplished that very well. Edge coming back, reestablishing himself into the mix, that also did very well. And Brock Lesnar looking like just a beast like he is, and manhandling half of the match like he did was very well done, and the way he got eliminated was very well done. So that match was just booked really well. Enjoyed it top to bottom. Great men's Royal Rumble match. Really good stuff overall. So a couple of things I want to bring up when it comes to other matches they had. Look, not much to say when it comes to Worlds Collide. It was good last night. Pre-show, Kaylee Ray over Mia Yim. The Ilja Dragunov Finn Balor match was actually kind of fun. Small guy, though. If he's a 205 live guy, that's a cruiserweight. You go ahead and put him into the mix. He's good there, but there's not much more to the Mad Russian thing. It's just it's a very one-dimensional, very old kind of feel to a gimmick, but he's a good wrestler. Jordan Devlin, very good wrestler. Winning the NXT Cruiserweight Championship was very good. Swerve Scott looked good. Travis Banks, a little rusty. And Angel Garza, that was a good match. Very good match last night. Rhea Ripley over Toni Storm. Quick work. Rhea Ripley, they are booking her to be so damn solid right now, so she's going to be unbeatable. Imperium in 30 minutes over Undisputed Era. If you want to make Imperium into something bigger, you got to give them something, a rub here. So if they want to have a little bit back and forth with these two factions on each other, that's good. But Imperium needs something more. They need layers. I don't think you can really put anything to say, okay, Walter is the leader. but everybody's just uniform. Like, I guess if it works that way, but if you're going to make them just uniform and stay like that, there's got to be something more to be said. Imperium and just having the guys out there in the look, there's got to be more to the look. More than just the look. You got to really build that up. There's got to be something more about the story of Imperium to really tell. I don't know what you're going to do with that. That's what I'd like to see have happen. Now, finally, I couldn't help but just kind of hum Billy Corgan doing "It's High Times, It's High Times." I couldn't get that song out of my head, but it was very well done. NWA Hard Times was a really fun pay-per-view last night. So I think Trevor Murdoch was fantastic last night. Quick work, took care of the question mark. Dan Moff, I really didn't know much about him too much. I wasn't looking at Ring of Honor as of late when they brought him in, but the guy is a beast. That guy is just badass. Strong as shit. So I like the signing of Dan Moff. I want to see what he's going to be doing coming up. Supercard of Honor. Follow that up. Ricky Starks makes his way all the way up to win the World Television title. That was great. Him and Trevor Murdoch had a great match together. Really good to actually see they didn't do the 6-minute, 5-second stipulation in that match to get a real designated winner of the match. Eli Drake and James Storm over at Rock and Roll Express and the Wild Cards. That actually was really well done. I enjoyed that match a lot for the Triple Threat Tag Team match. Where Rock and Roll just had too much of the triple threat. They couldn't do anything when they could do it. So Eli Drake getting the gravy train with the win. I actually like that team together winning that. I actually like the name if they call themselves Drinking Buddies, but who knows what they're going to call themselves. I really enjoyed Thunder Rosa winning the title over Allison Kay. That was great. They obviously put so much into Thunder Rosa. They really feel a whole lot with her, and I think she is just star. And she's so over with the crowd. She's great. I really like the look, the moves, all of it. And to have her with Melina and Marty Bell, that whole thing right there is really good stuff. I don't know what to think about what they're going to be doing so with them too. Aaron Stevens and Scott Steiner actually was kind of an interesting match. I thought Aaron Stevens was actually really funny this past week on Power. And all the stuff they were doing to him, that was really good and stuff. I thought Nick Aldis flipped Gordon. It was a long match, but it was a very well done match. And I liked the Ring of Honor inclusion into the NWA pay-per-view. I thought it was really good. And overall, like I said, another A pay-per-view for that as well, which is really good. Next pay-per-view for them is the Crockett Cup. It'll be in April 2020. Don't know when it's supposed to be, but I don't think it's going to be WrestleMania weekend. They're going to probably do it later that month. But good stuff all across the board. Really enjoyed it. So there's a whole lot that can be said about the Royal Rumble and what they did to plant seeds for WrestleMania. But here is what I got to say, and I want to see what they're going to do Monday night. This is where Royal Rumble really built up a couple of nice things to really get things started up and to give us some excitement and a little bit of anticipation for WrestleMania. That's very good. But again, this is where WWE does a good job of starting things. But it's the creative team. It's inherent upon the creative team and the management and all together. You got to have some follow through. The TV's got to be compelling. And that has been failing for the longest time. It is now time. The TV's got to be compelling. I know you got 70 days to get that pay-per-view off the ground and going. That's a long time to get there. I get it. And you got the Saudi Arabia show is also just a monkey wrench into everything else. But build yourself to Elimination Chamber. Get yourself all the way up into WrestleMania and just say, man, find some ways. Listen, we are seeing now that the company is able to do long-term stories. They did Roman Reigns, King Corbin, the Lana Rusev Lashley thing probably is still going for all we know. The Otis Mandy thing's going on right now. There are some things here that are going for long-term, so that's good. Keep it up. you're able to go ahead and get some storylines to continue along. It's a matter of being able to do some things to kind of just lay out, like weave across a storyboard. You know your endings for some of these. WWE needs to do a better job of weaving the storyline in between to build up. They have to do a proper build up. It's imperative for all these stars to get to where they are. Drew McIntyre at this moment is in such a good spot. He's a main event guy right now. He is locked in right now. He's in the main event of WrestleMania. That's going to be his match. He's going to take on Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Great. And he's got a chance. They could put the belt on him if wanted. Or they can give him a great effort and Brock comes away the winner. But let me tell you, that story right there, the Roman Reigns Bray Wyatt story, if Charlotte Becky is going to happen again, the rematch, if you're going to do all that, we got to have some real in-between storytelling. That's got to get done, and we got to, shake it up a bit. No contract signings. Please don't give us like some of the other stuff. You want to do like the sit-down interviews. You want to do, add some other people in the mix, which I think Paul Heyman's done a good job of doing it where we're seeing multiple people being added in the matches. So it's not just the two people or the tag teams or whatever it is just going after each other. There are other people added to the mix so that you have some multiple storylines going on. That is good. They have to be able to do that. That is for the good of WrestleMania and Tampa Bay. If they can do it, they will succeed. And they will get themselves back on the right foot. But now it is dependent upon them to be able to execute in between pay-per-view storytelling. They have to be able to get this right. And we're going to be on them with a fine-tooth comb. We're going to be extra critical of everything that goes on here on the podcast, starting with Monday night, how they're going to do things here, and see where they go with things. Very important that the Lesnar-McIntyre story gets off the ground good. Edge gets reincorporated into the mix. What are they going to do with Seth Rollins, AOP, Joe Owens, Aleister Black, all of that? We want to see where they're going with it and where they're going to go in the right direction. So that's what I want to see as well. We're going to leave it there. Coming back Wednesday with another Wrestling is Real podcast where we'll see what they've come out with after the fact, post Hard Times, post NXT Worlds Collide, post Royal Rumble. We'll get onto that on the next Wrestling is Real podcast because wrestling needs us.
Thank you for listening to the Wrestling is Real podcast, brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. Help support the King of Podcasts. Shop now at KingofAmazon.com.